Well, I don't know. They run there.
We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to the April 12th, 2018 meeting for the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair. Joining me today is Commissioner Shelley Bueller. Good morning. And Commissioner Bob Archer. Good morning.
Good morning.
Madam Clerk, if we could begin with the first item.
That would be item 3, consent agenda.
There are 5 items on the consent agenda. Are there any questions regarding it?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
A second.
There's a motion to approve the consent agenda by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
The vouchers are totaling $1,076,136.23. We have holding accounts of the state of Kansas, $590,265.71. Capers, which is in pool cash, $294,306.75. And then numerous Parks and Recreation accounts that total $53,544.49. And I have no questions on the approval.
There's been a motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move for approval of the correction orders.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Excuse me. Item B, Public Works Solid Waste. Number 1, consider approval of project budget for road repair of Southwest 77th Street, west of Highway 75, off-ramp to the Southwest Burlingame Road, in the amount of $400,000 with funding from the Special Highway Fund.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Block with Public Works and Solid Waste. This is a Public Works item. In this request before you is to do some pretty significant improvements to Southwest 77th Street between Highway 75 ramp westward to Burlingame. This 77th Street portion is a roadway that we had taken over from a township several years ago. It used to be a gravel road. We chip sealed it to make it a hard surface. We've been struggling with that road surface ever since, with lots of potholing and raveling, and now, as particularly when Mars has come in, there's been a lot of semi-truck traffic utilizing that roadway, and a thin chip seal does not have the structural stability at all to handle this kind of loadings. We've been trying over the past few years, trying to see if there's different methods we could use to not come to this route. As far as repair, we have now reached a conclusion that this is the way to go to make it last and last longer. So before you is a request or a budget to basically do like we did on the frontage road along I-70 between I think it's Valencia Road in front of the auto auction. Basically do that same kind of road project, but on this road. The funding would come from our special highway fund, so if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Tom, if you could walk us through the actions requested today is to set a budget for the project. Where would we go from here?
Where we would go from here is we have design specifications already developed from the ones that we did use on the frontage road. So what we would look to do then is to revise those to match up with this project, and then likely then go out for bid for a contractor to do the work. If we get the bids in, then we would come back to you all to try to get them or ask for approval, and then proceed to construction.
And our timeline for that construction would be what period?
We'd probably be looking now, I guess, as early as probably June we might give them some flexibility to try to get the best prices that we could. Oftentimes, you can get a better price if you give the contractor flexibility in their schedule. What we would do is we would give them so much time to complete the work once they started, but we would likely give them a flexible start time. So if they have a lot of work already geared up for the year, this could be potentially a project toward the fall where they can fit it in and just don't have a workload. So I'd say probably as early as June, but potentially as late as October.
And would this require the closing of 77th Street? Would we take it down to one lane?
For this, we would likely close it because we don't think it would take very long.
And with that closing, and given that we know that there's semis from Marsh that are using it, what notice do we send out to businesses and individuals?
We would probably just send them letter notification.
Okay. Questions?
Move for approval.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller,
Second.
second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B2, consider approval of resolution number 2018-18, authorizing the sale of surplus real estate via public sale.
Commissioner Tom Block again, Public Works and Solid Waste. This request before you is now that we have completed the Willard Bridge project up in Willard. As you recall, we had to acquire some right-of-way to do that project, and as part of the acquisition of that right-of-way, we ended up essentially needing to purchase property from the property owners in order to basically acquire it. For some of it, we built a detention basin, and we used part of it. There was an old mechanic's garage that we used for our work trailer. Now that we are done, we have property that we really don't need, and we would like to put it up for sale so that the county, one, if we get it back on the tax rolls, but two, the county won't have to expend any funds to maintain it. So that is our request, is to just go ahead and sell those tracts back to interested parties.
Questions regarding this?
Move to adopt the resolution.
I'll second.
Motion to adopt resolution by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B3, consider approval of request to award bid for the purchase of multiple metal commercial waste containers to Downing Sales with funding of $17,324 from the Solid Waste Collections Fund.
Commissioners, Tom Block again, Public Works and Solid Waste. This is a solid waste item, and we are in need of replenishing a portion of our inventory for our commercial containers on solid waste. So we went out for bids, or we accepted quotations for that, and we received 3 bids from different vendors, and the low bid came in from Downing Sales in the amount of $17,324. We have purchased containers from them before. They provide a quality product. So it is our recommendation that their bid be approved and that we award the contract to them. And again, as mentioned, this will be coming from the Solid Waste Fund, which is a fee-based fund and would require no tax monies. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Questions regarding? Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B4, consider authorization and execution of contract C-130-2018, amendment to contract C-251-2014 with Schaefer Oil, a sole source provider, for purchase of various oils, fuels, and lubricants used for county vehicle maintenance to reflect an increase in prices.
Commissioners, Tom Block again, Public Works and Solid Waste. This would be both Public Works and Solid Waste. Over the years, we've utilized different oil and lubricant products from different companies, and we discovered years ago that the use of the Schaefer oil has allowed us to greatly reduce the time frame or the time period in between services, oil changes. And their oil is such that it works so well that when the oil becomes viscous, it will break down like little metal parts in an engine. This Schaefer oil, and they've proven it to us by we send in oil samples, and we continue to do that, where we'll send in oil samples after usage of the materials for so many miles, and they will do a analytical evaluation of to see if there's any metal shavings in the oil. And we do that, and we've determined that we can basically double the length of time in between services, which can be rather expensive for large trucks. Typically, you think 3,000 miles or so is what's kind of the standard, has been the standard. Now with some synthetics, maybe 5,000, but we've been shown that we can prove that we could go up to 10,000 miles before we have to change oil. We don't go quite that far, but we'd be somewhat comfortable if we did. But we've doubled, let's put it this way, we've cut our services in half, because we only have to do them half as often. But by that, we save quite a bit of money in doing so, and we think we save probably around $30,000 a year in reduced service costs. So back in 2014, we entered in an agreement with Schaefer to buy their products, and their prices have not increased in those last 4 years. They've reached a point where they've had the cost of raw materials in freight and all that going up, where they've reached a point where they cannot absorb that any longer. So they've requested that they've sent us a new price list, which does have a slight increase to most of their products. There's one product called Citrol, which that is like a citrus kind of cleaner material that you use to get oil off of equipment. That one's gone up maybe about 14%. That's the highest one. That's quite a bit. Most of them are, I think, around 3 or 4% increase over those 4 years. But anyway, we are sold on this product, and we want to continue that relationship with Schaefer. And so that is what this request is to continue that with them and be allowed to purchase their products from them. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them. And I said this is for both departments, so the funding would come from either solid waste or public works.
I know you've identified this as being a sole source. If we walk into any auto parts store or Walmart, there's a variety of oil products out. What makes this a sole source?
The proof, the analytical proof that they can provide us that the material will not break down engine parts over the length of time. We've never received that with our equipment from any other supplier.
Other questions?
Move to approve the contract.
Oh, do they? Ms. Griner just informed me the Sheriff's Department apparently also uses this product.
Yeah. All right.
Thumbs up by the captain back there.
So there was a motion for approval by Commissioner Archer.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Next item. Thank you, Tom.
Item C, corrections. Number 1, consider approval of request for out-of-state travel for 2 supervisors to attend a Mitigation Dynamics Safe Training and Responsible Restraints, STAR, Controls System Training at a total cost of $2,230 for both employees with funding from the training budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. This is a request to allow 2 of our officers from the Juvenile Detention Center to train specific certification for our self-defense and use of force techniques at the Department of Corrections. This is a proven and evidence-based type use of force defense tactics that are used within juvenile detention centers. One of the staff that are going to go in is just to be recertified. The other person is going to be fully certified. These are the ones who get certified in these techniques, and then they come back and do the training for all of the staff. This is in Lee Summits, Missouri. I mean, typically that for the greater Kansas City area, we don't, but because of the cost of this, and also that the officers had to sign training forms, and also will be providing training reports back, things like that, we felt it was appropriate to come onto the budget. We do have the funds, we budget for this, and I stand for any questions you may have.
Okay. Brian, you said this is also for certification. Doesn't this factor into our accreditation?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And we have to have specific techniques. This is these STAR techniques are used within several, that and MANT training, typically when you see more in state hospitals, psychiatric hospitals, or juvenile detention centers. But yes, this figures right along with our accreditation for American Correctional Association, absolutely.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0.
Thank you very much.
Our next item.
Item D, County Councilor, number 1, consider approval of request to award bid to Central Mechanical Construction Company, Inc. for replacement of the HVAC equipment at the Expo Center, Exhibition Hall, and Manor Conference Center, and authorization and execution of contract C-131-2018 for same, with funding for the Exhibition Hall from the half-cent sales tax and funding for the Manor Conference Center from the 2017 contingency fund.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Crown, Shawnee County Councilor. This is one contract, technically 2 projects with 2 different funding sources. This was bid out, and this contractor was the lowest, best bidder involved. If you look at Article 4.2 of the contract, it does break out the costs that are allocated to each piece of this. It's basically $649,700 for the Exhibition Hall piece and $274,200 for the Manor Conference Center piece. Why do we have these 2 projects in one? It's my understanding currently this is one HVAC system presently. After this project is completed, there will be 2 systems, each independently serving each structure. I'll be happy to answer any other questions you might have.
I know that our description got just about as long as the memorandum, and so that we would have adequate disclosure as to what was going on. Commissioner Bueller, do you have questions
I do
regarding?
not.
And I know that presently the HVAC system, we've got substantial issues with it, only operating at half capacity or 1/3 capacity. I see Kellen nodding. And this is of urgent concern given the amount of bookings that we have with Manor and with the exhibition.
Yeah, really isn't something that we can wait on, and there'll be other items like this too that were related to the renovations of the Expo Center facilities that really are in dire need of urgent attention, and we'll be bringing those forward as we can.
Commissioner Archer, any questions?
No.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
This is an opportunity for any department head or member of the public to address the commission on any item of interest or information.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kellen Site, Inspector of Venue Management at the Kansas Expo Center. I just want to give a quick update on Skillet and For King and Country. Again, that is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. We have opened up some additional tickets, so we will not sell out the event. So if you were afraid that you weren't going to be able to get tickets, we're opening up more. So come on out and enjoy a great night of concert and fun.
Great. Thank you.
Good morning, Charles Hydevis, District Court. Just want to remind you that tomorrow on 4/13, we have the next information session for Clean Slate Day, where folks can come by and get an expungement. That will be from 3 to 5 p.m. at the library in room 101B. Expungement Day will be held at Ag Hall on the 20th of this month from 9 until 4 p.m. For adult convictions that occurred in Shawnee County. So if you have any questions about that, please come to the information meeting this tomorrow evening.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Commissioner Archer, anything?
No, not this morning.
Commissioner Wheeler, anything?
I'm excited to see that there is new paint in the break room and the snack bar, so it's looking very, very nice. And looking forward, I want to make sure we build this up a little bit, the State of the Community address on next Thursday, correct?
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
Time is ticking down, so
So, looking forward to that.
Absolutely. We do have the State of the Community speech coming up on Thursday, getting ready, making all the last-minute preparations. I know that making the speech is always more stressful than it probably should be, but it is if we think of ourselves as being the CEOs of a corporation, the State of the Community speech is reporting to our stockholders. Now, with county government, our stockholders are all the public. So it's reporting back to the public what were our positives, what were our negatives, and what's the outlook for the future. And I think that that's really to be able to reduce that down to a very short period of time, because there's so much that we do in the county, and but being able to highlight those things, and also to forecast where we're going in the future. On Monday, we did have the opportunity to speak at the for the Board of Health to learn about our community health rankings and health equity, and that discussion was very helpful. And I think that it's an ongoing conversation that needs to happen as to how we address health equity in our community. So, I don't have anything additional. Our next item.
Item 6, executive session.
There is a need for an executive session for 10 minutes for consultation with the attorney for the public or body or agency, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship related to programming at the Kansas Expo Center. And that is a motion made by myself.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? It passes 3-0. We are in executive session. Before everybody gets up, when we come back from executive session, we will adjourn. After we adjourn, there will be a 10-minute break so that we can have a proper break between the commission meeting and the work session, so that they will be two separate items online and for streaming, so that members of the public that want to go back and look at these afterwards would be able just to pull up the work session. So we are in executive session. We are back from executive session. No action was taken. We are adjourned. Again, we will be adjourned for 10 minutes to come back to start the work session regarding the Expo Center.